What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Hopefully yesterday you had a wonderful Thanksgiving, but let's get to the stimulus package update and infrastructure news for today, Friday, November 26th. We have some very big news, almost breaking news that has come out over the past 8 to 10 hours, that there's a new COVID variant that has been found in South Africa, in Botswana, in Belgium, in Israel, and a person in Hong Kong. Here's the reason why this is so important to follow at this time. Right now, lawmakers are trying to get the consensus and pass a bill in the Senate of $1.75 trillion for human infrastructure bill. This bill would have it would lower the cost of medications. It would be better for children and families because it would lower their costs for child care. Schools would get some money, right? There's a lot of stuff in this bill. The child tax credit payments would be extended one additional year. But here's the problem. Some say that one of their biggest worries, as far as lawmakers, is that what if we see another surge of COVID? Now, this was talked about. This was something that many lawmakers were worried about back in September, back in August. They're worried about an additional surge in cases. Here's what I can tell you. And you're probably thinking, well, we don't have to worry about COVID. We don't have to worry about a lockdown because the White House officials have already said we will not lock down again. But let me just break this down. White House officials also said they would not impose a mask mandate. They told us that they cannot legally force a vaccine mandate, so that will never happen. But guess where we're at? We got vaccine mandates and we got mask mandates. We got mandates. So can you really trust a White House official that told us, no, we can't do this, we will not do this, and we can't legally force this, and then they go and do it? I'd say no. But this is why we should be worried right now. The bigger worries amongst experts at this time is that a new COVID variant could show this new one could show immune evasion and enhanced transmissibility. Here's what I can tell you. If the vaccines that 195 million Americans have already received do not work against the new variants, we could go right back to square one. But right after the news broke, and okay, maybe not right after, but in the past few hours, vaccine manufacturers came out and said that they can easily reconfigure their vaccines and get them into production within weeks. So that's good news, right? That's really good news. But here's the problem. This means that we have to wait a couple weeks at least in order for them to get their new vaccines reconfigured and back into production, so that they can then go and send them out. Here's the problem with that. We wait weeks for them to reconfigure the vaccine. We wait another, let's say, week to get the vaccines distributed across the United States. There's 3 to 4 weeks. That's almost a month. Okay? So that's a month of dealing with this COVID variant. Well, here's the problem then. They don't just go and distribute the vaccines and everybody's cured. You have to go in and get the vaccine. You have to go and get an additional shot. So here's the problem, and this is causing a lot of issues right now. Just reading through Twitter, many people are saying, see, I told you, there's no point to get the vaccine because it's going to change the COVID variant. It's going to mutate. It's going to change how effective that vaccine actually is. And it's true. But here's what I can tell you. This is the reason why many people right now want to wait in regards to passing the $1.75 trillion human infrastructure bill. Because this is going to impact, for one, it's already impacting the stock market. We saw the stock market, a lot of stuff was really selling off today. Many people are really worried. It's Black Friday, right? Stock market's on sale. So the stock market had a major reaction this morning of this news. Crypto was down significantly. The market right now is very worried that we're going to see another wave of COVID. Well, let's talk about the $1.75 trillion human infrastructure bill. Reports back in August, I believe, They were saying that lawmakers were worried about passing a large infrastructure bill. Okay? And at that time, it was supposed to be, what, $3.5 trillion. Okay, $3.5 trillion. Well, let's just break this down. We already passed a $1.2 trillion bill. If we pass a $1.75 trillion bill, that takes us to about $2.95 trillion, right under $3 trillion. We'll just say $3 trillion, right? So we were potentially going to pass a $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill, but now with the two bills, we're going to be about $3 trillion. Here's why this is so important. Lawmakers were worried that if we pass this bill, this is a very large bill, okay? It could potentially cause inflation, but the big worry was that it wouldn't have anything included in it for stimulus or pandemic-related expenses and benefits. Now, they say if they were to pass this bill and we see COVID come back, we see the efficacy rate of the vaccines drop significantly, that would be a mistake. So, here's where we're at today. Many warned that we should just wait and see how COVID progresses first, then determine the best course of action. This is what they said back in August. So keep in mind, we went through September, October, we're almost out of November, 3 months. 3 months we went. Now, here's where things get very interesting. Experts have been warning countries like the United States, China, Germany, United Kingdom, to do not hoard our vaccines, because if we do, then this could hurt the poorer nations and we could cause COVID to come roaring back. Guess what? That's possibly what just happened. Now, why is this so important? Okay? Why is this news so important? Here's the reason why. If we see this new variant, okay, come roaring back, COVID is coming back, and especially over the winter months when everybody's cooped up, right? It's colder outside, nobody's really outside, everybody's inside, the more confined spaces, right? If we see this come back, we could potentially see, and this could happen over the next couple of weeks, we could potentially see this news derail the entire $1.75 trillion human infrastructure bill. We could see that infrastructure bill go away, put on pause. That's going to be stuck on the shelf, just like Senator Joe Manchin wants. We'll see that put on pause for now, and lawmakers would then start to determine, should we pass another, or at least look into an additional stimulus package? Here's what I can tell you. If lawmakers are worried that another wave of COVID is coming, then they will want to leave themselves an out. They'll want to figure out a way to have some money sitting on the sideline just in case. So, if we see another surge in COVID cases, here's what could happen. Lawmakers could potentially want to provide more stimulus to businesses to stay open. And here's the reason why I bring this up. Even though the government might not say, hey, let's shut down. We're okay, but let's just, watch this. Let's be careful. Here's what's going to happen. If the vaccines that we have been getting, the 195 million Americans have already received them, if those vaccines prove effective, even a vaccinated person that is in close proximity, close contact with an infected person who tests positive for COVID, they still need to wait 5 to 7 days to go and get tested. If they are negative, they can go back to work. Here's the reason why this is so important. Right now, we're seeing a worker shortage. We're also seeing supply chain issues, shipping issues, so on. But the big thing is a worker shortage. What happens if currently in a worker shortage environment, we see manufacturing shut down because a worker tested positive, so all the people around them had to go home, stay quarantined for 5 to 7 days, test. If they came back negative, they can come back into work. Okay? What happens then? What happens if this does the same thing for a restaurant who's already struggling? What happens if a retail store has a person come back and they test positive? They have to wait 5 to 7 days. If all the workers around them have to wait 5 to 7 days to get tested, then what? You can't just call in the backup workers because there are none. There's a worker shortage, right? There's issues there. So this could cause lawmakers to want to pass additional stimulus for businesses to help them stay open so that they do not close down. We saw hundreds of thousands of businesses simply close their doors during the pandemic because, number one, COVID cases. They were scared. Number two, worker shortages, supply chain issues. The customers were not there, right? People didn't want to go out and spend money. Then the mandates that came in. So this is the issue, is we could see lawmakers pass additional relief for businesses. So we'll see what happens on that one. We could also see lawmakers want to provide more benefits to unemployment. If these businesses have to shut down for a week or 2 weeks or whatever, understandable if COVID cases are coming back. But what about the workers? Are they going to receive unemployment for staying at home? Because we know they don't have enough sick leave. We know that's not going to happen. The majority of workers out there do not have enough sick leave to take a week to 2 weeks off. They can't do that and still get paid. That's an issue. We could also see the government, according to reports recently, the government could step in and bail out airlines once again. This could happen. Again, we have seen, and this is normally the case, when we see travel get reduced. People aren't wanting to travel. People don't have the money to travel. Gas prices are going up, which means airline tickets are going to be more expensive. As this happens, right, what we could see is airlines decide, you know what, COVID cases are coming back. We can't travel to this country and that country and this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to furlough some of our employees. Guess what happened last time? When the airlines were considering furloughing their employees, the government stepped in, bailed them out, and paid, well, we paid, the American taxpayers paid to make sure that the airlines didn't furlough their employees. Now, could we see an additional stimulus check? There's discussions of an additional stimulus check, yes. But is that really going to be the first thing that comes out? No. I don't anticipate a fourth stimulus check coming out unless everything just completely goes under. We would have to see COVID cases come back in a hurry. We would have to see businesses shut down. We would have to see, in almost any case, we would almost have to see our economy shut down completely on almost 100% lockdown before we see an additional stimulus check. That's almost to the point where we're at right now. So again, I bring this up because this new COVID variant, and I've been saying this for the past year or so, if we see a new variant that the vaccines just do not work against, that could send us right back to the beginning. If we go right back to the beginning, we're going to go through a lot of the ups and downs that we've already been through. However, the one thing that Democrats are trying to do right now is that $1.75 trillion infrastructure bill. If we can't pass that, it will simply be because there's something that's more pressing. That would be this stimulus package to help fight against the new COVID variant. Provide more money for businesses. Provide more money to people that are going on unemployment. So that's what we're hearing at this time. Again, lawmakers are still on recess. They'll come back on Monday, and they'll start their 2-week work cycle. But one thing I can tell you is when they come back, my guess is over this weekend we get a lot more reports on what's going to happen with this new COVID variant. Are our vaccines even working against this? And we may not know the answer to that for another week or two. But here's what I can tell you. If we see more reports, if we see new updates regarding this new COVID variant, and if the updates are bad, expect the $1.75 trillion infrastructure bill to almost be put on hold so that lawmakers can reevaluate where we're at and determine, should we provide or should we wait and potentially provide more stimulus to our economy because of this potential variant. So again, that's what we know at this time, but as always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all the latest news and updates. Again, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.